Hi, and welcome to Animals and Aquatics. My name is Gina, and I'm your host. I'm an occupational therapist, sleep deprived mom of three, and lover of all things nature based. Hi, good morning. Welcome back. I am popping in your ears today to talk about some benefits of working with therapy goats. Now, maybe you have heard of goats before or have done some goat yoga, but maybe you're not real familiar with how goats could be used in an occupational therapy session. Now, our goats that we work with at our program are Nigerian dwarf goats. They are a type of dairy breed, and most dairy goats have been bred for a very long time to be very friendly and sociable, to work well with people. A dairy goat needs to be milked every day or twice a day, and so breeds of goats that are dairy goats tend to be easier to handle. They tend to be more people oriented, and so if you're thinking about a therapy goat, a dairy goat breed is a good idea because, again, that long term breeding to make them more oriented to people gives us a head start in working with a goat when we're going to partner with it in therapy. And as an occupational therapist, I think there are some really great benefits in bringing goats into our therapy session. And that's some of what I want to cover today. So, if you've ever wondered about what types of animals you might partner with as an occupational therapy provider, I'm going to talk about our goats today, and I think they're pretty fantastic. We have three therapy goats that we work with at Epona Therapy Services. Our oldest goat, her name is Maggie, and she is an older white goat with a really long beard. She is a nanny goat. She is a female goat, and she is a lot of fun. She is definitely one of our gentlest goats. She will come up on our deck and nap with my kids. She likes to be involved in what we're doing, but she's very polite and curious. She walks well on a leash, and Maggie is definitely one of the kids' favorites. She'll stand and be brushed for a long time. Our next therapy goat is our mama goat, Evie. She gave birth to twin boys last year, and she's due in about 6 weeks from now. But she is also one of our therapy goats, and she's our little powerhouse. She is great for hiking. She carries backpacks with all of our therapy supplies in it. So she loves to come along when she's not being a mama, and she does a really good job of giving the kids something to work with as far as giving her direction, because Evie can be a little opinionated and self-directed. So she gives children a lot of opportunity to practice some leadership skills, to think ahead and plan, because if you don't think ahead and plan with Evie, she will definitely make her own plan. And Evie is definitely easy to work with. She walks well on a leash. She likes to get cuddles and scratches, so she enjoys the grooming part as well. She is certainly a good one to work with. And our newest therapy goat is Evie's son. His name is Cloud, and we decided to keep him because he was so oriented towards our kids. He very much, right from when he was born, was very, very people oriented and would just climb up into their laps. He allowed our daughter to carry him around. And when he was about 4 or 5 months old, he got sick with a sickness called coccidia. And that involved us having to provide him some pretty intensive care inside of our house for about a week to 10 days. And during that time, he got even more bonded with us, and that gave him an opportunity to really spend some time with us to get to know him a little bit better. And that really was kind of the last piece of our decision making with him, that we would keep him on. And we've taken him on a couple sessions now. And since he is still pretty young, he's not even a year old yet, he's definitely learning the ropes. He hasn't learned how to walk well on a leash yet, and he needs a lot more breaks. So it's good for kids who are learning a little bit about self-regulation, kids who need to take breaks themselves, so children with anxiety who need to take breaks themselves when they're at school or in a setting that's a little bit more stressful, we can compare that to how Cloud needs to take a break, and they can learn a little bit of compassion and empathy for him when he needs to take a break because he's new and he's just learning this new job, and they get an opportunity to explore what that's like, but they get to support Cloud in his learning. So some of the kids love to be our goat trainer and really help Cloud come along and learn some of the skills of being a therapy goat. So, what are some of the benefits of having a therapy goat? Well, from a clinician's point of view, is they're easy to manage. Our goats all are 50 pounds or less. They can be picked up and put in the back of a SUV or sit in my lap, but as long as I'm not the driver, they can sit in my lap, and they walk on a leash. So they're easy to manage. They're small animals as far as livestock goes, so they don't take up as much space as the horses do. They're easy as far as their feeding goes, hay and some hay pellets or grain, depending on what their nutritional needs are. And they aren't biters or kickers, so for safety management purposes, all of our goats are disbutted so they don't have horns, and that makes them easy to manage as well. They are herbivores, so they eat grass when we're out in a nature-based setting. That is really a wonderful thing because they can snack on the go. So one of the great benefits of working with therapy goats is that they're easy to manage in a therapy session. They will follow along. They are herd animals, so they like to come along with us. They like to be wherever the people or the group is, so they're not going to wander off smelling or doing their own thing. They want to stay with us. And that's a real benefit in our therapy sessions, and that relates to them being people oriented. They're interested in what we're doing, they want to engage in what we have. If you think of the old adage, a goat will eat anything, well, they're certainly going to explore it with their mouth. They may not actually eat it, but for kids, this is a good interaction with any of the therapy props, equipment, tools that we have. The goats are going to come over, they're going to smell what we have, they might put it in their mouth, or they're at least going to nose around with it. So again, it gives the clients another opportunity to see the goats interact with them. The goats want to come with us, they want to be around us, they want to be right by our side. As I said, Cloud, he will climb up into your lap, so he's still pretty small, and that's an okay behavior for him. We don't allow any of our goats to jump up on us or jump up on people, so that people orientation is really important to us, and it's a real benefit when we think about clients that are having a hard time interacting or interacting socially. If we introduce the therapy goats to a group, it's a great way to get people to interact. The clients can take turns, or if we're running more of a support group sort of situation, the goats are kind of an in between. If somebody is hanging back a little bit, a lot of times the goats will go ahead and approach them. One of another benefit that I feel with therapy goats is that they are very trainable. They are easy to train to walk on a leash or a harness. They naturally want to fall in line when we're hiking along. So there are people who pack with goats in backcountry, and so those goats don't necessarily walk on a leash, but they do walk along when people are hiking. They stay with the group. And that's important for our goats too. So having them trained to walk on a leash and follow along or lead the way is important. We can teach them some simple commands like up, which is really nice if you want them to get up on a bench or a stump or a log with kids. That's another nice opportunity. And we can teach them to come for a treat. They know their names, they come when called. So all of those components of having them trained to do some simple tasks that are nice to have in an occupational therapy session, those have all come in handy, and reasons why I think that therapy goats are an animal that I like to work with as an occupational therapist in a nature-based setting. And I would say the number one benefit of partnering with therapy goats is their love of play. Goats are silly, they're funny, They love to play and bounce and jump and climb. And when we are running our nature-based sessions, they are the perfect counterpart for showing kids what can be done in that nature-based environment. They're going to get right in there with the kids. They're going to jump, they're going to climb, they're going to hike. The one thing that goats don't particularly like is water, and that works just fine because when the kids want to be down by the stream, the goats will hang along the stream bed and maybe nibble a little bit of weeds or plants along the side, but they'll hang real close. But play. The goats will get in and play with the kids. The goats sometimes will play chase, so sort of a little bit of a game of tag. If you come up to me and touch me, then I'll run away, and then I'll come up to you and run by you, and then you'll run away, and I'll run behind you. I think that's something really cute that the goats do that is a great way of interacting with our clients. So, if you're an occupational therapist and you've ever wondered about our therapy goats and what that might be like, this is a little intro into what working with therapy goats might be like and what some of the benefits are. So, again, those benefits: easy to manage, people oriented, trainable, and they love to play. If you have any questions about our therapy goats, send us a message. We'd love to hear. Thanks for listening.